There's still people on the roof! Get back here!
Okay, we all had a turn yelling at the helicopter. Good, moving on. I think the building's on fire.
Oh, I think there's an evac station in the mall.
Good enough for me. Grab a weapon, let's go.
I'm with you.
Alright, so I have to take a monster turn. I'm gonna be honest. It's leaking. It's leaking. But, welcome back to Left 4 Dead 2. Mostly unmodded this time. Compared to last time when I crashed that course, at least. I do have a couple of weapon mods that you might notice throughout. They're based off of the vanilla weapons anyway, and those are the only mods I have. So, I will be playing Left 4 Dead 2 again, and it'll be in similar fashion to the Left 4 Dead 1 video, where I will just be talking, but that one, I kind of just turned on the camera and started recording. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I have some big speech, some big script in mind, but I do have a couple of... I had a couple of things that ran through my mind before pressing record that I thought I could talk about. That's really all there is to this. I'm just going to be ranting, so enjoy. Little things I can talk about is, I don't know. I really just kind of wanted to get on here and go through some of the things that have been kind of coursing through my mind, and I thought I could talk about them more and make a decent video out of it. Now, I'm actually going to go and grab a melee weapon because I feel like pistols are too high cortisol. I've been having trouble sleeping lately, and I'm not sure why that is. Now, I guess it is important to note that summer's in, I'm not in college anymore, for the next summer, not like I dropped out or anything, but so school's done, summer's in. I live very far away from home, but for the first summer, I'm not living back home. I'm staying on campus. Hello.
The fella masturbates all day long.
The first summer, I'm staying on campus, and I live pretty far away from home, so I feel a little alienated from my home life. But they're all busy with work and things of the like, which I'm doing as well. Work, internships, stuff like that. But living that mundane life has resulted in a different a different mentality. I feel like I'm changing. I feel like I'm going through some kind of a metamorphosis. And I don't know why this made me think of this, but just before recording, I saw a clip from Forrest Gump where he was in Nam, and he was talking about how he missed his mom and such. Come on. Hey, dude, I have been playing this game way too long to have gotten got by that. I'm ashamed. But I don't know, something about him missing his mom or whatever made me realize that, like, I am almost, it's something, it's a part of military life that I've kind of always thought about, because I was an ROTC in high school, and so it was something that crossed my mind, the idea of living with your family, and then all of a sudden moving to some far away place and just living there without your family, basically embracing full culturalness, the full culture of adulthood and being independent. It always scared me when I was younger, and I never thought it'd be something that I would embrace myself. I always thought it'd be something I'd be hesitant to do. But fast forward, at the age of 18, when I moved out for college, that is what I did. I moved 4 hours away from home, didn't have really any plans of staying with friends at the time. I kind of just assumed I would make all my friends up here and that things would kind of just work out. And they more or less have. But the thought occurred to me, it was like, obviously moving to a faraway country for a war versus moving to a college far away from home are two very different things. But the general concept of just moving away and feeling lonely and homesick are still there, and it's something I didn't think that I would feel. Get out of the way. So it's something that crossed my mind. I thought was, I don't know, kind of interesting. But the thing is I'm making it. Like, I'm doing fine. And it honestly hasn't been bad. When I initially came up to college and I settled in, I did have a couple of initial panic attacks. The feeling of desolateness and that I might mess up and things might go awry caused a lot of panic attacks. In fact, it caused my first panic attack ever. I didn't even know I could have panic attacks, but I did. But despite all of that, I've gotten through it. I'm still here. Oh, I didn't even notice you were a smoker. That's how little I'm paying attention to the game right now. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, I stopped paying attention for 2 seconds. And of course, the coach is getting mauled because the AI is... Get out of the way. But I'm getting through it. Both that horde in college life, being away from home. I'm gonna go get in the safe room and heal. I'll talk to you in a second. All right, we're back. But I'm getting through it. And that's the part that's strange to me, is that it was something that I always felt was so scary, and yet when it actually comes to it, when I'm not thinking about it too much, I'm able to do it. I wouldn't say with no problem. Definitely wasn't with no problem, but it was easier than I expected. Or the pain was about what I expected, but it went by so fast that I almost felt like it wasn't there. And that's an interesting phenomenon that I've noticed basically my entire life. All kinds of pain, mental, physical, emotional, is that it always seems like it's going to be so unbearable, so unlike anything that I've ever experienced, and then I get through it, and it almost feels like, well, was that it? Was that the big thing? A little more information about me, my personal life. I used to box in high school. I still do. And when I started boxing, that was the first time that I ever got really punched in the face. Was sparring when I boxed. And I remember before then thinking that being punched in the face sounds so terrifying. And I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to take it, and that I was going to look like a bitch or something along those lines. And then I got to getting punched in the face, and the worst part of it, the part of it that I hated the most, was the smell of the sweaty leather. It wasn't the feeling of getting punched. It didn't hurt. I wasn't in pain. I remember the part that I hated the most about it was the smell of sweaty leather. So this phenomenon that I find so interesting about having high expectations for pain and for suffering, and then that suffering coming is interesting. It's not something I've really done any research on. Most of it is just through personal experience. But I don't really think I have. There's loads of stories and loads of things I could tell, like how I got into a car crash one time, and I got hit by a car going 60 miles per hour, like T-bone to be exact. And I remember beforehand, hey, can I hit this thing, please? Oh my lord. I remember beforehand thinking that getting hit by a car would hurt so much, and then I did, and it was almost like, well, what was all that about? You know? But I got through it. And I'm getting older. I'm trying to differentiate if that's me, if that's just because I myself am so strong, or is that just how humans are in general? Watch this real quick. Perfect. But it's something I've always found interesting. As far as other things I can talk about, I don't know, not really much has been happening. I've been living, kind of like I said earlier, ever since summer started, I've been living pretty mundanely. Only thing I'm really doing right now is working on my regular job, and then for things outside of it, like my, I've been trying to work on AutoCAD projects that I can possibly put on a resume. I'm a civil engineer And so a lot of it's just going toward, a lot of my time is just going towards work, internships, and also just outside projects. But aside from that, aside from YouTube, ooh, okay, I misgauged the fuck out of his distance. And there he is. That's so awesome. So I did a quick test run of dead center just yesterday, and I did so good. I was doing so good. Today, nope. Second I start talking, the second I can't pay full attention to the game, I'm just buns. But I've been living pretty mundanely. Only other thing of note is that I've been playing. There he is. There's the big guy. Let me just lay into him real quick. Let me just. Here. Get out of the way. Do I have anything? Yeah, you do. Maybe you should get out of there. Oh, hey, what's up? Thanks. Where are you going? Thank you. Gosh. There we go. Perfect. So let's get rid of this horde. Then I can actually focus on what I was talking about. The AI is so guarded. Over here. There you go. Perfect. Boom. Boom. Where is that charger? Oh, you're up here. Yep, right next to me. That's perfect. Yeah. Alright. They're done. Yeah, no, life's been pretty mundane. Other than work and things of that nature. The other thing I can think of is YouTube. Mainly just YouTube, some other, like, relationships in my personal life. And the only other game I'm really playing semi-frequently, aside from this game, is a fan game for Freddy's called Frick Bears. I'm saving Candies 3 for recording and such, but playing Five Nights at Frick Bears. Only reason why I'm not turning that into a video series is because I started playing that game before I started recording videos. And so I did remember when I was testing out recording softwares, that was one of the games that I used for it. And that video ended up so awful. But I mean, but that wasn't, the game wasn't good, or me not being good. It's just, I misgauged the volume, and I didn't have a system going with the audio or whatever. But if I was new to that game, I definitely would make a video out of it. Okay, let me get this sorted out, and then I'll keep going.
Freak show soft drinks. Let's head back.
I got freaky sauce. Am I trying to bunny hop and failing awfully? Shut up. Boom. Batter, swing. Batter, swing. Come on. Get, my lord, get out of my way. Remember when I was younger, zombies would keep me, like locked and wouldn't let me move? I would dead ass just scream in my room. Or it'd be in the living room, hell. And I'd just sit there screaming, "Let me go, zombies! Let me go! Let me go!" The recording's frying the frames. Get out of my way. Perfect. Alright. Yeah, just playing Frick Bears, I promise it's not as cringe as it sounds. It's actually a really well-made fan game, and I like it a lot. I've gotten through all the endings, now I'm just kind of working through Lunatic difficulty. And completing that game, that difficulty, it's actual lunacy. Like, that name is not, it's not given for no reason. You have to be genuinely insane to want to get through that game mode. And I tell you what, I'm seeing voices. Alright, they're all taken care of. Sweet. Get in, everybody. Get in. Boom. Alright, and we're back. Okay. I'm not going to give you guys any time to get ready, because why not? Let's see. There's not really anything else to talk about. There was one big topic. I had a bunch of things to talk about on a wheel. Major topic. And I put them on a wheel. And one of the ones that popped up was something that has been on my mind really for as long as I can remember. It's about dating, but in particular, how height plays a factor in dating. Both with men and women, but it's primarily a men. It's mainly thought of to be associated with men when you think about height dating, as far as like what people prefer. And I mean, it's always been very important. It's always something that I've thought about, but it's gone through phases, my opinion on it. When I was younger, I thought about it, but I had positive feelings because when I was, 13, 14, when I started dating, I was a pretty decent height for my age. I was a little taller than average, so I assumed that when I was older, I would be roughly 5'11" to 6'1", and that I wouldn't have to worry about it. And this is important for what I'm going to talk about because it kind of gives you some semblance of where I'm coming from, although I wouldn't go as far to say as I'm biased. But even though I thought I was going to end up being, taller than average, just by a little bit, I only ended up being 5'7". That's how tall I am. Now, being a shorter than average male, it's gone through phases, my opinion on the subject, because when I did realize initially that I was not going to be any taller than 5'7" as an adult, it struck hard. So, wow, I'm not going to be tall, meaning I'm potentially going to have a hard time dating, and I'm not going to feel like the man that I thought I was when I was younger. Now that I'm older, now that I'm 20, and I've lived my life, still living my life, but I've been through a lot more. It's become a thing that I felt a lot less, I wouldn't say salty or angry about, but more of just that feeling of hopelessness isn't there more. Now, of course, that is partially just because I've dated women who have told me they don't mind how short I am. Or not only that they don't mind, but that they like how short I am. And I think that was always my issue, thinking about it, was that I knew that women wouldn't mind. I knew that there would be women who wouldn't mind. I think it's just that innate perfectionist in me that is scared that I won't be liked for my height. Like the fact that no one's going to like the fact that I'm a short guy. And that's been the case with a lot of my insecurities, is that I know people won't find it. I know there's going to be people out there who don't find these aspects of me, but I'm scared because I want people to like me for those parts. Why are there two of you? I want people to like me or to like those parts about myself and not just have them be things that they ignore. As I've grown older, I've realized that it's really not as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be. Who knows? Maybe I'm just better looking than most guys. Maybe my personality, my looks make up for it, and that for most average guys, my height would genuinely be a very debilitating factor, and that it would be much bigger of a deal than it actually is. As far as my opinion on girls who have height preferences, I don't mind it. Not only do I not mind it, I fully support having preferences. Key word, let me put a very strong emphasis on preferences, because from what I've seen, a lot of people who have height preferences don't actually have height preferences, they have height requirements. And the common situation, the common scenario that men will use as a scenario to support their salty opinions towards the subject of height is that a lot of women would go after a 6'4" bum because of his height, as opposed to, say, a 5'9" Adonis, a guy with a good job, morals, and physique and whatnot. Give me 1 second. But even in a situation like that, my feelings towards it aren't anger or bitterness or anything like that. It's more just confusion. Confusion, I guess. And this is all in reference to women who have height requirements, not so much height preferences. Because, I mean, the most common thing you'll hear about women who are, especially like smaller women, you know, say a woman who's 5'2", who wants a guy who's 6'4". The most common thing you'll hear is, I want to feel safe and protected. And the reason why that confuses me is because, as someone who has been included in martial arts and boxing fights, it's the concept of height equaling better defender has never made sense, because as a 5'7" man who has put 6'1", 190-pound men built with nothing but muscle, rock, and brimstone, a guy like me who has sent people like those to the hospital, it's never made a whole lot of sense to me. But then again, like I was saying earlier, it might just be a me thing. Maybe I'm just better at protecting. Maybe I'm just more attractive than most would say. I don't know. I'd like to be humble and say no, but again, I have no clue. But then women who have those height requirements might have different reasoning as well. It might just be that they purely cannot be attracted to someone who is shorter than a certain height. And if that's the case, then that's perfectly fine. I think of the hang-up that a lot of people get with that is the fact that they pretend like it's not. I feel like if people were a lot more honest with the fact that they can't see themselves being attracted to anyone below a certain height, really just any kind of tastes that someone has, but when they pretend like they don't, I feel like a lot of the saltiness behind that taste in those requirements would be solved if they were just honest. You know, physical attraction is a very important part of dating and being in a relationship. So why would you not want to be honest with someone? So when it's like that, if they're honest about that height requirement, then again, I have no problem with it. And when it comes to height preference in and of itself, regardless of the reason, I still have no problem with it. The differentiation, of course, with preference and requirement is that requirement means, like I said before, you would date a 6'4" bum as opposed to a 5'9", 9 out of 10, you know, in all other aspects. But preferences would be something like, if a girl were to be given that exact same scenario, they would pick the shorter guy. But if they were given a scenario where there are two similar guys in terms of attractiveness, but one happens to be taller, they will choose the taller guy. That would be a preference. And in that case, I have zero problem with that. Zero. Because it's a preference. Who cares? Similarly along the lines of, if a guy were to say that they want a curvier woman or a skinnier woman or whatever, or hell, we'll even throw in height as a factor as well. It's a preference. And dude, I'm so slow today. But it's never something that I found to be such a big deal. But that's just been my own personal experience. Other people might be different. I feel like there is a bit more I can say on the subject, but that might have to wait for another time. Let me go ahead and coach you troglodyte. That might have to wait for the future. Let me go ahead and finish off this tank, and then that'll be the end of it. I'm getting real close. There we go. Alright, you guys get him up. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the gas tank. Come on! Come on! That's good. That's 4. That's 5. I wish I had an adrenaline shot. That's 6. That's 7. And that's game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next episode. See ya.